And here we are. Greetings and salutations, everyone. David Eon here in the Open Mic by Chance Lounge, as it were. And I am without LPH. LPH is not here. She may not be able to come down. And I'll explain all that here in a moment. First of all, because we haven't been on in a few weeks, and there's a reason for that. And I'll get into that here in a minute. I'll go ahead and say hello to some of the people here. There's Munin, K. Munin, saying it's great to see the live stream come back. Yeah, indeed. Saturday Morning Fan. Renard is here. Happy Halloween, good candy. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of candy anymore. I think it's changed too much. I taste it now and I'm like, what is this shit? Did I used to eat this? Alpha Trion. Robert is here. Patrick, Pastor Rick is here. Pastor Rick is here. Again, the Open by Chance Lounge. It's almost together. Look at the big easy chair. Great big comfy easy chair with a Jolly Rancher blanket. But for the video game consoles. For the video game consoles. And yeah, I haven't been able to film the rack yet because we changed the spinner rack, but those are all vintage Hulks starting from, 102, when that became the Hulk comic officially. Roscoe is joining us. So yeah, we have not been on in a few weeks. And some of you are aware that we have an ongoing family emergency, because my wife's father is staying with us right now, and he is with severe dementia. It's very bad. He was living by himself. Family was supposed to be looking out for him. They weren't. And we went down there because she wanted to check on him and ended up bringing him back. And he is 24/7. He has to be maintained 24/7 because he's that far gone. And we're trying to find placement for him because we can't maintain that. We can't keep that up. There's no sleeping. There's no getting anything done. Even with me, I press and clean comic books. I've been having to turn down contracts because I can't divert my attention even that much. Or he's out the door and down the street and thinks if he turns the corner, he'll be home. So yeah, it's been a real challenge. And this is starting today, I think officially makes it 8 weeks. 8 weeks of this while we search for a placement. So it's been very, very hard on both of us. And he's up all night. Medication doesn't even work. And when your mind is that far gone, you don't need very much sleep. So yeah, 2:10 in the morning, and we're in the middle of the country. There's no light, nothing. 2:10 in the morning, he's out the door down the street and trying to hitchhike, and there's no cars. It's like, you need to come back. No, my house is around the corner. No, it's not. Your house is 250 miles away. It's been rough. And Stone Sour is joining us. And Munin, yeah, very sad to hear about her father. I know it's been very hard on us, but we're trying to take care of him, trying to do the right thing. It isn't easy. Because they can be very defiant when their minds go like that. They can be very defiant, and there's no retention. Anything you tell him, he will not remember. If he turns around and turns back, he forgets what you said. So that you can't explain to him. You have to explain it to him 100 times a day where he is, but he won't remember. And Pastor Rick made a donation for the cats. Thank you, Rick. So something for the kiddie pool, he says. Very much appreciated. 13 currently. I had 14, and I got one placed. So now I'm down to 13 felines that we are taking care of. I see Nerd is joining us, as well as Dynamike. That's cute, Dynamike. I like that. He says, love and prayers. We appreciate all the prayers we can get. Robert says, like Bruce Willis. Yes. Just for an example, I don't want to make this the whole topic of conversation because, let's talk nostalgia. Her mother is already in a nursing home. We took him to the nursing home to visit with her When we left, he looked around and said, "What's this place?" "Oh, this is the nursing home. What are we doing here?" "Visiting your wife." "My wife's here?" He was just sitting with her for 2 hours. That quick, it's gone. He can't retain anything. It's been horrible. And Tuck says they have 4 felines now. They're fun, aren't they? They're fun. They got personality. It's not always a good personality, but they've got personality. And I love working with the cats. I love taking care of them. And some of them don't like me. You know, they're just around for a free meal. And hey, that's okay. And some of them have gotten very affectionate. They really like me. And it's cool. But yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough on us. So we have not been able to do the live stream because we've been doing the roundup, because that's only like less than 20 minutes. But as far as sitting here for an hour or more, we're afraid to both sit here at the same time that long, because he'll take off, and and one of us would have to run and find him. Pastor Rick is here, says, "Yeah, you're in my thoughts." Yeah, thank you. Thoughts and prayers. I appreciate it. Robert wants to know the age. Mid to late 70s. And no, it will not happen to all of us. There are people that are much older that are sharp. Their minds are sharp. Some people, and there's a variety of reasons why your mind will go like that. Some people just don't stimulate their mind enough. Some people, it's an issue of diet. Medications can lead to it. A lot of things can mess you up. Best advice I can give you is always be a good steward of your body and your environment. Take good care of yourself, exercise, eat properly, try to avoid medications, keep your mind occupied. Don't just sit in front of the TV staring all day. Because just like they tell you, people who are fitness nuts will tell you, use it or lose it about your body and keeping your body functioning. Your mind is the same way. Use it or lose it. Yeah, Stuart thought he was missing the lines. No. Dynamite says it's nice to have collectibles and nostalgia as an escape. Does anything give him any peace? Old music or anything? Not well. Westerns. We can keep the TV running, watching reruns of like Lone Ranger or Have Gun Will Travel, whatever old Western shows from the 50s and 60s. It'll keep him occupied for a while, and he seems to like them. And there's Johnny Future. Robert wants to know medication. His sleep aids don't work, and the Alzheimer's medication just makes him more anxious, and you can't cure it. So it's been rough. It's been really rough. Oh, we did go out. We have been going out. We take them with us, but we have to. But we do go out and go to yard sales and flea markets, and actually have had some really, really good luck at the flea market this week. I've had off and on. It's not as good as it used to be. Back in the 90s, I used to go to yard sales and stuff, and I'd find tons of stuff, cases full of loose Masters of the Universe, people selling them. I remember once this one guy, he was selling them a dime a piece. Crazy stuff you find at yard sales. And of course, at an estate sale not too long ago is where we got the comic rack and the matching magazine rack, which was great. And thank you, Robert. Of course, all the prayers we can get, we appreciate it. But we went yard sailing and flea marketing again, and we've had some pretty decent luck, and I've got some things I can share. This is interesting, and this is actually a handmade quilt that she picked up at an estate sale. It is handmade, okay? And it's got hand-stitched patterns of Holly Hobby. But if you notice about the patterns, right, every block represents a month in the year. See, there's the that's like winter, January. February, March with St. Patrick's Day. April, it's raining. April showers. May, flowers. Or is that the May flowers? Yeah, May flowers. June, bride. I'm trying to keep the glare off of it, and so on. July, 4th of July colors. See what they did? And this is all hand done. And she found this at an estate sale. And it was like $15. People just don't do stuff like that anymore. See October, it's like a witch. This is fantastic. This is good work. And then the Christmas one. This is really nice. And she's into the holly hobby. And wanted that. It's like, that's pretty cool. That was fun. Yeah, Munin says whoever made that had talent. Back in the day, people used to be able to do that kind of stuff. Nowadays, anything like that's become such an obscure hobby because it's so much cheaper to get things machined. If you had someone hand make a quilt, it'd cost you a lot, but you can go buy one from Walmart and who cares? And Richard's joining us. Yeah, I haven't been on for a while, Richard. We haven't been able to. Yeah, Robert says, yeah, there is a light stain on it, like someone spilled coffee or something, and she's going to work on that to get that color out, or that discoloration out of it. I have a few other things here. I got at the flea market. Okay, some vintage marks. I picked these up today. Let me take that down. And of course, that's Sam Cobra and Johnny West. I think it's Johnny West, right? He only has his stirrups, so he died with his boots on. And then Sam Cobra only has the rifle, and it was $5 for the pair. $5 for the pair. No melt marks, and the jointing is nice and tight and everything. It's not finding them like these anymore. A lot of times the elbow's broken or the springs break or something. And I mean, Sam Cobra, a good condition Sam Cobra with the hair paint intact and everything, no accessories, might go for as much as $30. He's a lot more common, but the Sam Cobra, because he's a bad guy, finding all the pieces is going to be a pain in the butt because they came with a ton of accessories. But for $5, sure. I mean, I can't argue with $5 for the pair. And Stone Sour made a donation to the channel for the cat fund. Thank you, Stone Sour. All the best. All the help we can get with taking care of our felines. Richard says, I know you told us, and we wish LPAH and her dad best wishes. Thank you. Thank you. And Robert wants to know who's Sam Cobra. Sam Cobra, it's from Mark's Best of the West 12-inch figure line from the late 60s and early 70s, and he's just like a generic villain from that series. Oh no, Saturday Morning says Last Dragon's 80s movie heading back to the big screen for the 40th anniversary. Yeah, Bruce Leroy. No, the closest they've ever gotten to action figures is, I think, oh gosh, somebody made a show enough, but I think it's a custom. I don't think anything's officially been made. Oh, we went to McDonald's for sweet tea and fries. And it's such a lackluster place to be anymore. McDonald's is awful. It's like sitting in a subway terminal in McDonald's. There's no nostalgia, no fun to it at all anymore. But you notice they brought this back. They brought back the Monopoly game. And no, we didn't win anything. But the funny thing about it is it's been gone for a while, because of all the controversy around it, because the person who was the chief of security for running the contests for McDonald's was scamming the Monopoly contest. You can look this up, you'll find information on it. No one ever won a top prize that he didn't get a taste of. He knew, he worked his way into the computer system so that he could determine where the top prizes were going to be, get a hold of the winning tickets, transfer them to someone who could cash them in. And they had this whole like network going where they were stealing all of this. And it's going on for years and years. And then McDonald's elected to shut the program down after dude was caught and the people were rounded up. And as a result, they canceled it and didn't want to turn back to it. But now they're doing it again. Now they're back doing it again. Saturday Morning is talking about Gunsmoke, longest running Western. Yeah, 20 seasons. Never got an action figure line. No, it never did. Bonanza did. American Character, which normally makes dolls, made Bonanza action figures in 1967. I think they're in the 8-inch range, and they're built kind of like the Marx ones, but 8 inches smaller. They did, who was it? They did Dad, Little Joe, Hoss, and some random villain instead of Adam. And they did them packaged individually, packaged with a horse as a deluxe set. And they also have like a vinyl play set of the front of the Ponderosa or something like that. Yeah, Dynamite remembers McDonald's was colorful, like you're eating in a cartoon. Yeah, and they don't. Yeah, all the McDonald's have the kiosks now, Robert, but it's been horrible. And Cheeseburgers and Comics is joining us. Glad you could make it today. But yeah, it's been the way that they look now. You're running out of anything with any link to nostalgia. Although after that fiasco with Cracker Barrel, they walked the whole thing back. They're even converting back the restaurants that they reformatted to look the way that they did before. They walked that all back because they got so much backlash from everybody. And I'm wondering if it was a new Coke gimmick. For those of you who are not familiar with the 80s and New Coke, they had come out with New Coke, canceled their usual recipe, and the New Coke was not as good as the original Coke recipe, but Coca-Cola Corporate knew that. They did it on purpose to try to trick people into begging for New Coke back. But it backfired. And that's when Pepsi started with the whole Pepsi challenge nonsense, because Coke was better than Pepsi at the time. And then they were like, look, see, New Coke sucks. Take the test, take the taste test. And PepsiCo, and I know all this part of it because I used to work for PepsiCo. I worked for Frito-Lay. See, I still have the shirts. But I worked for Frito-Lay, and they talk about it extensively. They have seminars on their history and how the fact that Frito-Lay even belongs to PepsiCo because of Coca-Cola making that blunder and alienating their fan base. And when PepsiCo jumped in the 80s because of that, they got a massive boost in stock. They were making money hand over fist, and what are we going to do with all this money? Well, let's buy into other properties. And that's how Yum Foods International got started. They bought Frito-Lay, they bought Quaker Oats, they bought Tropicana, they bought Taco Bell. They just started buying everything they could get their hands on and expanding as much as possible. Richard says, is anyone else having trouble with the audio? Anyone else having trouble with audio? Because somebody said it was a little staticky. And Ferner is here. Did I pronounce that right? Fenrir. And Shelby Rockstar also joining us here today. reminding us Doctor Doom is coming out next year. I could care less. I'm so worn out with all of that. It's been a long time since Marvel's produced a halfway decent film. Honestly, I didn't even like Endgame. I didn't think it was a good film, but it's even that is better than anything they've produced since, and it just keeps getting worse. It doesn't seem to be improving. It doesn't seem to be improving. But yeah, anything that drops now and they're like, oh, the Superman movie's out. You excited? No. No. Fantastic Four came out. No. I like the look of it. I've talked about this before. I like the look of the Fantastic Four, very Kirby-esque, but not the not the way that they're formatting the storyline and the direction it was going on or going in. But also flea market pickup. Flea market pickup. Check this out. Like, it's Teddy Ruxpin in the box. Teddy Ruxpin in the box, and came with 3 book and record sets. 3 book and record sets. 1, 2, 3 from the Adventure series. I think the book's in there upside down. Yeah, it is. It's in there upside down. 3 book and record sets with a Teddy Ruxpin. And so the question would be, of course, does it work? Does it work? It works. It does work. Well, he does speak. The it plays when you put a cassette in it, and he has a cassette in him, and his eyes blink, but his mouth does not open and close. And I don't know if it's something wrong with the mechanism or if it's the batteries. It could be just the batteries aren't strong enough. So I'm like, in the box is a little rough. I'm not sure quite what I'm going to do with it. It was $30 for this and the whole bundle, $30. And she wasn't sure if it worked or not. But I'm like, for 30, even if it doesn't work, I could flip it if I had to. I could turn around and sell it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. For the collection room, I would prefer one in better shape, but it's nice to have one that does work in the box, though. So I'm going to see. I'm going to see here. The thing is split a little bit right there, though, but that's an easy fix because it's just the glue came loose. Smells like vape, though. I'll have to get the odor out of it. Saturday Morning wants to know if I saw the Teddy Ruxpin movie from the 80s. No, but I used to watch the show. With my sister. She liked Teddy Ruxpin and she liked Rainbow Bright. And I used to watch those shows with her in the 80s. So, but I've not seen the movie unless the movie was just a construct of the show, in which I probably saw it in pieces. But yeah, that's for the price. I mean, I could get more than that if it didn't work at all selling it on eBay. So if I decide to flip it, it's cool. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with it yet, but I didn't want to pass it up. And JSS Brooklyn is joining us. So what are we going to do here? And yeah, I remember they had the Grubby, and that opened up a whole, Grubby was a cool one. It opened up a whole can of worms for that sort of thing, because then you had Talking Big Bird that sat in the nest, and then you had Talking Alf. Everybody wanted to do that after Worlds of Wonder pulled that one off. I don't remember a My Pet Monster movie either. And JSS likes The Office. Thank you. Well, it's not an office. This it's our lounge area in our Open by Chance museum in our home. From our new home, because we moved, it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year for us between the move, which we basically had to do ourselves. We didn't really have any help. We hired somebody for one day to move the really heavy stuff like the jukebox, because that thing's like almost 500 pounds. But the move and the expense and now the issue with her father and everything else that's going on, it's been really hard on us. And then poor Speck dying. One of the stray cats I take care of, Speck, had passed away. Yeah, it's been kind of hard on us, despite we've had a lot. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but that's how life is, isn't it? It's a roller coaster. Also at the flea market. Okay. And I had to rescue this stuff because it does not belong out in the sun. Some animation cells. A couple of them, it's going to take a while to figure out where they came from. Okay. It's going to take a while to figure out where they came from. All right. But a couple of these are going to shock you because I know what they are, but some of them I don't. This one, I'm not sure where it's from. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure where this is from. Okay. But you know, animation cells at the flea market, and they're just laying out in the sun. If from one of these people, it's the peddler's flea market. We go there often enough. Most of the people that are out there, they're just people that clear out storage lockers. Right? So I got this. It's very unusual. This is where it starts getting interesting. Okay. That one of these slipped out. That should be facing the other way. I'll tell you, these cutouts are art panels from Mad Magazine from the 70s. That is supposed to be Charles Bronson on the bottom there. This one is definitely okay. That's also from Mad Magazine. That's an original sketch from Mad Magazine. I recognize it. I know what that is. I can't remember what issue, of course, off the top of my head. It's a 70s issue. And then this one, that's Don Martin's art. And you see that piece is sliding out. But this is Don Martin's artwork. JSS is sending wishes, and Richard also prayers. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's been very hard on us, which is why again, we have not been able to do a live for some weeks, and of course why my wife is not here now. Again, her father has very severe dementia, and the family wasn't taking care of him, so when she went to visit, she took him. And you know, it is what it is. So he's with us until we can get a proper placement, because he needs 24-hour surveillance. He's a danger to himself. Robert says, looks like Ralph Boschke. Which one? Looks like Ralph Boschke. Because I don't recognize the signatures, but I know I have seen this in Mad Magazine. I know I've seen this one in Mad Magazine. I know I have. And again, that's also where these came from. And I'm assuming this other one might also be, but I can't be sure. And here's the thing. How much? $15 for the lot. $15 for the lot. And I just like, I don't think I could have been done better than that. Saturday Morning said Matt had an animated primetime special in the 70s, in 1974. Interesting. But yeah, I mean, animation sells at the flea market. Give me a break. I and it's laying out like that because they don't know any better. They don't know any better, and it's like, oh, you got that laying out in the hot sun like this, and that it'll murder those. That's probably the reason why these slid out, is because of the heat. You know, that heat will destroy those. Yeah, Dynamite says, tell her we miss her and praying. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I've had some great luck at that kind of stuff. Not all the time, not like it used to be, but it is what it is. And I like some unusual animation cells. I got rid of a bunch just recently. I took them to Joe Lanta. I traded them with somebody, and it was Dilbert, the cartoon show based on the comic book Dilbert. You know, with the little dog in the office cubicles. I had Dilbert animated cells because they had a cartoon show for one season for adults. And I had some Brave Star also that I traded. And Richard says, yeah, bless you for doing that for LPH and the family. Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Tell my wife to leave him? I mean, no, I understand. I couldn't do anything to hurt her. And he needs the help, even if he is defiant with it, because, man, he's difficult. But, yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. He can't really help it. Robert would like to have Flash Gordon cells from the 1978 show. And Sylvan is here. Says, sorry to hear about LPH's father. It's very real in my country, affecting the 70 and over. Yeah, it can affect a lot of those people that in that age category. Like I said, some people, they get old, they're sharp as a tack. Some people, I guess it depends on how they, sometimes it depended on how they lived, you know, how they took care of themselves. You know, what kind of medications they had to take in their life, whether or not they exercised their mind and their body. A lot of things can affect it. You know, some people could have lived in a place where they had contaminated water. Things like that happen. Things like that happen. I wonder if this could be from that animated special that you were talking about there, Saturday Morning Fan. I'm not sure. But yeah, I was happy to find these, happy to rescue them so they wouldn't be destroyed by the environment in that outdoor flea market. Because, you know, the thing that I hate the most walking around in the outdoor flea market is seeing rows and rows of like die-cast 1/24th scale cars from NASCAR or Hot Wheels and other action figures, Pops now, hundreds and hundreds of Funko Pops, and all the cellophane windows are turning yellow. And of course, when they get yellow, they get brittle because the sun and the temperature changes and everything is destroying them. And these people don't know what they're doing, and they don't care. They don't care. Get the glare off of that. They don't know what they've got, or if they do know what they got, they're real stupid with it, and they want some insane price. And it's like, dude, you're at a flea market. Give us a break. Come on now. Give us a break. And of course, also from the flea market, for those of you coming in late, Sam Cobra and Johnny West, Sans accessories. I've only got a pair of spurs and a rifle, but Sam Cobra and Johnny West for $5. $5. Sam Cobra's in real decent shape because he's one of the ones that is pretty desirable Munin thinks there's more pops than humans. Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it? Because they still cranking them out like no tomorrow. They're not making as many as they used to. They're not making as many as they used to. But Saturday Morning Fan says the Mad Specials on YouTube. I could look for it and see if it matches anything that's there. JSS says it could be paste ups from the Mad Magazine TV spot directed by Chris Ishii, Jimmy Murakami, okay, and Gordon Bellamy. It could be. It could be. And, I can track down these signatures and see who these people specifically are because they are signed. All of these are signed. And I don't know, again, where the hell they could have come from, but I've got them now, and I'll take good care of them. I'll take good care of them. Happy to have it. I come up with some weird stuff sometimes, but you never know what you're going to find. Like I said, at the estate sale is where we found the comic rack and the matching magazine rack. And I never thought I'd be able to get one because every time you see a vintage comic rack, they want a fortune for it. They want hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Saturday Morning Fan wants to know if anybody knows who the first animated primetime show was on TV. Not the Flintstones, right? Is it the Flintstones? I know because the Flintstones was never a children's show, and it was primetime television. It was a comedy show for adults, and they did things like smoke and drink on it. But when they reformatted it for children and started putting it like after school programming or whatever, they took all of the Winston cigarette ads and stuff out of it. But yeah, there's tons of Funko Pop stuff at the flea market and other vinyl, like the vinyl statues of like Biggie and all that other stuff. Stuff like that. At the flea market now, tons of Funko stuff, and they don't treat it right. It's all dinged up and banged up, and the cellophane is turning yellow and cracking, and it looks awful because they don't care about it. They just throw it out there. No one buys it. Throw it back, and it doesn't get taken care of. And especially with Funko Pop collectors, they're very finicky. They're very finicky. It's got to be perfect, or they don't want it. Cheeseburger says Flintstones. I thought it was the Flintstones. Primetime television show for adults, for an adult audience, was the Flintstones. I thought so. But, I could be wrong. Because any other shows, a lot of them were an accumulation of shorts. Tom and Jerry, Woody Woodpecker, all that stuff we used to watch when we were kids. They were animated shorts from movie theaters that were strung together into a cartoon show. Sylvan says, you and LPH take care of your health. I've had to take care of an ill parent. It can be a drain. It is. It is. And like I said, we're barely sleeping because he's up and down all night, setting the alarm off. We got tracking on him. So if he wanders off, we can go find him. It's been tough. It's been really tough. And Robert says Betty was his first crush. Not if you saw Betty in the live action film, because that was Rosie O'Donnell. How are you going to take the one that everybody thought was the cute one and have Rosie O'Donnell act the part? I'm going to be doing another unboxing video soon, I think, of stuff that we got in the mail. Unboxing video. And I've gotten some interesting things recently. I wanted to save it for an unboxing. I could show a preview of something that I think is really amazing, but I've got to do an unboxing. We got to do one for the spinner rack, an update on the spinner rack, since we said we would do that every month. and another unboxing video of some things that have come in just recently. Well, we did one a few weeks ago. So one thing I can show you, and I think this is amazing. I think this is an amazing find, and it popped up on eBay, and I got it really, really cheap, and it should not have been. I don't think they realized what it was when they put it up. And it's not a toy. It's not a toy, but it's majorly nostalgic, okay? It's majorly nostalgic. It is a vintage jacket made by Super Stitch, okay? You see this logo there? Super Stitch. Get in there good so you can see. Super Stitch Inc. Now, Super Stitch is a company that manufactured clothing like jackets for movies, television shows, concert series, things like this, okay? They would make, crew clothing, crew jackets, crew t-shirts, crew hats, something that everybody that worked on the film or worked on the show would get. And this is a crew jacket, and you'll never see anything more 90s in your life, okay? From MC Hammer's Too Legit to Quit World Tour from 1992. Sponsored by Dare and Kentucky Fried Chicken. I saw this on there, and I'm like, oh my God, look at that. 1992 KFC tour, MC Hammer, Too Legit to Quit, and the jacket's in perfect condition. It's not torn. There's nothing wrong with it. And I've seen these jackets before. One that's really popular is the one from the Home Alone film, also made by Super Stitch. I've seen these before, and they're usually up over like in the thousands. I've seen these jackets selling for $1,200, $1,500, stuff like that. And I'm like, that is about as 90s as it gets. This is amazing. It is no rips, no tears, nothing's missing. The elastic is still good. I'm just like, and the guy threw it up there, and it was something like, what did I pay for this? Something like, I think with the shipping, it was less than $50. Yeah, Munin says that'll happen from time to time. A seller will put an item up for cheap, not knowing what it was. Yeah. And like I said, the Home Alone jacket is a very popular one. And there's a Warner Brothers one, but the Warner Brothers one is pretty common, and it only just has the Warner Brothers logo on the back. And I'm like, I could turn around and flip this for a fortune. Not gonna happen. I'm keeping this. I'm gonna wear this to the shows. Well, I will wear this. I will wear this to the shows when the fall weather starts coming in, and we're going out and we're filming, and people are like, "Do you have the crown on? Do you have the crown on?" You can ask if I've got the jacket on too, and I probably will. I probably will. Oh man, are you kidding? Are you kidding? This is amazing. And Brian is joining us. Glad you could make it here today or this evening. It's evening where I am because it's 7:45 right now. Action Joe Figs is here, and he says he was just at the toy show. I hope you had some good fortune. I hope you had some good fortune. But like I said, this is so 90s. So 90s it hurts. I mean KFC, KFC. Dare to do what? To be too legit to quit on the MC Hammer World Tour. Oh my God. And it's reversible. And oh man. And LPH is like, you got that jacket? I'm like, yeah, I got the jacket. Now I got to find her one. No, she cannot have my jacket. Yeah, Munin says yes, the crown and the jacket. I will. When it's cold enough. I don't want to be in the shows sweating in my jacket. Okay? I don't want to be in the shows sweating in my jacket, but I will wear this jacket. And I thought the Tupac jacket was too much because I found one at Goodwill a few months back, an actual from his era, not something that was just made. It's a vintage original Tupac jacket, denim jacket, like Levi's style, that I found at a Goodwill for like $5 or something. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, nope, not selling it. I'm going to wear it. I'll wear it to the record show. So if I go to the record show and it's not quite cool enough for this jacket, I'll wear the Tupac jacket now. I'll wear the Tupac jacket to the show. No parachute pants, Saturday morning fan. I don't think so. Although I would rather wear parachute pants than skinny jeans. I will not, no way. No skinny jeans. No skinny jeans. And Raccoon is joining us. I'm glad you could make it, Raccoon. Haven't been, again, for those of you who are just tuning in, have not been able to do a live for some time because of the unfortunate situation with my wife's father and the family emergency that is ongoing until we can get a proper placement for him. It's difficult getting back to that for just a moment because we have, like, for example, there's a nursing home that said they will take him, but they don't have a room available yet because he's a security risk. He's a danger to himself. So that means that they have to put him in a wing that he cannot get out of on his own. So, and that's where it gets challenging. That's where it's getting challenging. Munin says, I'm no fan of Tupac, but getting a themed denim jacket for $5 is an insane deal. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Tupac either, but it's so classic. It's so classic 90s. And I'm like, because it's one of the old ones. It's vintage now. And I'm like, that's a fantastic find. And I would wear it to a record show. I would wear that to a record show, and I would wear this when, like I said, when the weather gets cooler and we go out to the shows. I may wear this. I may wear this. So you might ask. There you go, Munin. No, I'm not trying to get anything crushed. No skinny jeans. Bad, evil. Skinny jeans are for chicks. I don't wear those. Never. Oh, no, Saturday morning. I do not have Marty's life preserver jacket. No, don't have that. Wasn't that a vest? It was an orange vest, right? I don't remember. And Johnny Future's not here, so he can't correct me because he would know off the top of his head. Action Joe says, picked up 2 40th G.I. Joe box sets and a Dragon 1/6 scale figure and 5 loose 12-inch figures and several uniforms. Okay, so you had a good time. And Marvel Fan is joining us. Glad you could make it today again, sporting the MC Hammer jacket. And I could just imagine how this must be the most expensive piece of clothing I own. You know, I could just imagine what the value on this is. I have no idea because, again, the super stitch jackets tend to sell for quite a bit of money. But this one, again, with the shipping, I think I paid less than $50 for it. It was a fantastic find on eBay. And it happens from time to time. That happens from time. Sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes you just get lucky. But I don't. I have no intention of flipping it. I have no intention of flipping it. But yeah, this is just cool, and I love the dare on there too, because again, that is so 90s. That is so freaking 90s. Too legit to quit. But yeah, I'm gonna do again an unboxing video soon, and this will be in it because this came just recently. This came just recently, and then I'll put it away someplace nice and safe. I don't want anything to happen to it. Good point. Munin says, to be fair, some women shouldn't wear skinny jeans. Yeah, they shouldn't, or yoga pants. No, Robert, no cat will pass by down here. Although I don't see any reason not to allow Miss Kitty to come down here from time to time, because she is the only cat that was allowed to come into the museum in the old house, because she never disturbed anything. All she ever wanted was to sit in this chair. If she came downstairs, she would come and lay down here and take a nap, and then when she was ready, she'd come back up. So, I mean, I don't foresee a problem letting her come down, but otherwise, you know, the other cats, I don't think so. I'm not so sure that would be a good idea, because they probably get into too much trouble. Yeah, Saturday morning, I remember he had a cartoon show, MC Hammer. They gave a lot of weird people cartoon shows back in the day. Some of them didn't deserve it. It just like, but you know, almost all Saturday morning cartoons are one-hit wonders. Very few of them, as I'm sure many of you are aware, very few of them lasted more than a single season. And Munin wants to know if the cats have gotten used to the new house. Yeah, they're doing good. They are doing good. They're getting comfortable. They're doing fine. They're not upset with Stranger Cat being around. Stranger, of course, is some of you might remember when we first got here, a couple of them got loose. It was Pinky, ran off, and Dad and Hobo chased after her. Okay. And got lost, and they were lost for days, and I was really upset about that, because especially Dad and Hobo, because they've been around forever. I didn't want them to get hurt or something bad happen to them, or they starve. Hobo doesn't have teeth. He can't eat if I'm not taking care. And then they came back. They turned up, oh God, what was it? 11 days later. But when Hobo and Dad returned, they were together. And this new cat was with them. And that cat's still coming around. I don't know where she goes, but she always comes back at mealtime. And Robert thinks I'm in good shape for my age. I've been this size and shape since I was a teenager. My jeans are 34, 34, and they've been 34, 34 since I was like about 15. Oh man, because it reminds me of a funny story too, because there was a guy I was working with once, and for some odd reason he asked me what size my pants were. He's like, "What size are your pants? What size waist do you have?" And I told him 34. And he says, "Oh wow, yeah, okay." He says, "When you get older, it's going to get bigger, you know." And pat himself on the stomach, right? And then he asked me how old I was, and I told him. And then he didn't look very good. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And he was like, "You're like 9 years older than I am." And he was like, "I was 34 in high school." It was like, "You can fix it." You can always fix it. You can always fix it. But yeah, I've managed to maintain my size for a long time. But again, you know, it all goes back to being a good steward, very biblical, being a good steward. You know, the story of the good steward from the Bible is not about money. It's about basically everything in life. They just use money as an example. If you're in charge of something, do the best you can with it. Your body too. And for those of you who came in late, I don't know if everybody saw the animation cells. I'll show them again. Flea market pickup. And they are from the 70s. And yeah, that's Don Martin. Don Martin's work. Robert says you don't exercise. Yeah, my wife and I do every day. 5 days a week. We do weight training and we do cardio. This one, I don't know what this is for sure. But again, you know, animation cells from the 70s, especially related to Mad Magazine. You can't pass them up. Can't pass them up. Not quite 100% sure what I'm going to do with them yet. But $15 for the lot. Never seen anything like this. LPH has a ton of Masters of the Universe animation cells. She stole them from me. I had them because I had a block of animation cells from different shows, and she wanted the Masters of the Universe ones. I really just kind of gave them to her, honestly, because she's such a big fan of the Filmation Masters. How do you say no? How do you say no to your wife? How do you say no when you like your wife? That I actually like my wife. It's not just about loving your spouse. Do you like them as well? That's a big question. And I like and love LPH. She wants the animation cells. She can have it. I wasn't going to fight her about it or make her pay me. And I did have other animation cells. I got rid of a bunch recently. Like I said, at the Joe Lanta, there was somebody who was interested in them. Sylvan wants to know, is it the guy who did the Mad Magazine cartoon? What they're suggesting here, because some of the people were talking about this, is that this might be from a Mad Magazine television animated special from 1974. Because that was kicked around here. Saturday Morning Fan brought that up. One of these panels slid out. So that could be where these are from. And I'm going to have to do a little more research. But I knew these were Mad Magazine when I saw them. Especially this one. I remember this one specifically. And I'm like, yeah, Don Martin, you mean? Sylvan is asking if that's Mad Magazine. Yeah, Don Martin was famous for doing Mad Magazine, correct. So animation cells, Johnny West, the Teddy Ruxpin again, for those of you who are coming in a little late. Teddy Ruxpin in the box works. His jaw doesn't move, but his eyes do open and close, and he does play the tape. I don't know if the jaw not moving is a mechanism problem or just the weak batteries, because I scavenged for batteries. He takes 4C batteries. And I took the batteries out of other things and put them in here to test it. And of course, he came with 3 book and record sets. This one, that one's upside down. 3 book and record sets, or record sets, cassette, book and cassettes, not records. I said that backwards. For like $30. They can't beat it. Robert wants to know about changing the comic rack. Yes, we did. I did. She didn't do her side yet, but we're going to do a video on that soon because we were supposed to do one at the first of every month when we changed the rack. But, you know, everything around here is kind of ground to a halt, taking care of her father. He absorbs a lot of time. Saturday Morning Fan wants to know if we'll ever get GoBots. I would get GoBots. I don't have a problem with GoBots, actually. I would get GoBots, but I got so many other things going on. opening up on another line. You know, I'm like, do I want to open another can of worms? I get so many incomplete lines already. And then at the last Jolanta, some of you remember, if you saw our pickups video from Jolanta, I got all those Mego Eagle Force figures. I got like, what? I only need like 5 more figures to complete the line. The guy had he had almost all of them. And they're in perfect shape. They're not even punched. The condition on those carded figures is fantastic. So I got those, and then I got some Starcom. You know, I got like 8 Starcom figures, and I'm like, I don't, you know, I would like to do GoBots. I think that would be pretty cool. Most people do Transformers, so it would be different. Plus, GoBots came out before Transformers. They beat Transformers to the punch. Hasbro just marketed better. Robert would love to see us get Jason the Wheeled Warriors or finish the Inhumanoids. Yeah, LPH has a couple of things, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, because she likes that show, but man, that stuff is hard to track down still in the package. Very difficult. I think she has like 2 carded sets. And the Inhumanoids, yeah, I just need 2 pieces. I need the Liquidator on the card, and I need Decompose in the box. And that'll be it for Inhumanoids. Yeah, Robert, Starcom is small. So are the Eagle Force. They're all 2-inch figures. And Dino Riders, Bone Age, a lot of those figures, Mask, of course, are all in that 2-inch range. Yep, Tuck, the Inhumanoids, the evil that lies within. And I have almost the entire line carded and boxed, except for the Liquidator and Decompose. I've been looking off and on for more than a year, haven't found a Liquidator. Yeah, Saturday morning Rock Lords or GoBots also. Yeah, I do have Rock Lords. What came first, Rock Lords or Comet Warriors? I think Rock Lords did. I think Rock Lords was out before Comet Warriors, actually. But I do have some Rock Lords and Gnarlies, which are part of the Rock Lords. No, Saturday morning, the female on Inhumanoids didn't get an action figure because they didn't continue the series. Robert wants to know, are they in scale, Starcom and Eagle Force? Yeah, they're about the same size. They're all 2-inch figures. And Munin makes the point. He says, once you pick up a bunch of figures from a single toy line at one time, it's over. You feel compelled. Yeah. And again, I forget how many. I want to say Starcom is 23 figures, and I got 8. And then what's the other one? Eagle Force is, I think, 18 figures, and I got like 13. So it's real close. And Frankenfrog is there, as well as 70s meets the 80s. He says, did you buy one of the Spider-Man 77s yet? The Nick Hammond version. Spider-Man 77? No. I don't have that. Do you mean from Hasbro? You know what I would want is the Japanese one, the one from the Japanese live action show. Has action figures that were made in Japan in the 70s, and they're crazy looking. Robert said, how about Starcom and Mask? Yeah, I'd like to finish the Starcom and Mask. I have a handful of loose pieces. I don't have much in the way of masks, just a handful of loose ones. That's all. And it was 70 says the Walmart. No, I haven't seen it. I have not seen that one. They said they want to work him into the MCU, the original actor. He's game for it. He may as well. I would. Why not? It's a check. The original live action Spider-Man. I want to see them work in the Spider-Man from the Electric Company. Spider-Man, where are you coming from? Spider-Man, nobody knows who you are. That's right. Robert wants to know if I'm planning on getting a new mask. The mask is pretty expensive in comparison to the rest of them. You know, for the most part, Starcom and Eagle Force isn't that expensive. Okay. Mask, Dino Riders, and Bone Age are expensive in that 2-inch scale. They can be real expensive. Raccoon loves the Ramones version of the Spider-Man theme. Really? And Frankenfrog thinks Tobey Maguire is the only Spider-Man. Fair enough. Saturday Morning wants to know. Oh no, I skipped something. I'm sorry. Fan is here. Glad you could make it. He says, went to Pensacola, Florida on a family vacation. I saw some vintage carded and boxed Battlestar Galactica figures and vehicles. Thanks for your showcases. Thanks to your showcases, I knew what I was looking at. Well, I'm glad it was helpful. And I do have the entire first wave carded from the Mattel Battlestar Galactica. Now I just need wave 2, but wave 2 is a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult because that's when they canceled the line. So you don't have, that's the Gold Cylon, that's Lucifer, that's Boltar, that's the weird pig guy from that one episode that you're like, why the hell did they make a figure of him? So wave 2 is going to be a hell of a lot more difficult and far more expensive. And, I'm not balling out of control here. It seems that way because we have so much, but it's really only because of primarily the incredible deals we find when we go toy hunting. Blue Splash has joined us. He says Voltron's a good line. I like Voltron. I do like Voltron. I used to have a set part of the collection that was stolen. Most of you know that story. Most of you know that story. But yeah, I had the Voltron stuff, and that's just not here anymore. I hadn't ever gotten back to it. I had never really gotten back to it. And you do what you can. You do what you can. I've had more than I have now, even still. But it is what it is. A lot of the stuff that I had, it'd be way too expensive to ever find it again. So I have to be careful. I have to pick my battles. As I point out often enough, when we go hunting, toy shows, comic shows, whatever, it's always target of opportunity. Target of opportunity. Is this something I would be looking for? Is it a decent price? You know what I mean? Is it a decent price? Can I do this? And just be realistic about it. Like when we were at the last retro toy swap, and people were trying to egg me on about that gumball machine. I would have loved to have gotten that gumball machine. 70s gumball machine shaped like a robot that works. You put a quarter in it and the eyes light up and everything. And I was like, I can't swing it right now. I just can't. Because I would have loved to. I would have brought it down here and I would have set it against the wall somewhere. I'd have figured it out. Take out one of that last thing of DVDs. That's just random overflow DVDs from upstairs. I'll pack them up and put them away and put it right there. But, is it in the budget? Probably not. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. And it hurts even more. It was bought shortly after. I was going to try to negotiate with the guy. I mean, Chris from the One You Loved Comics was like, hey, man, I'll put it in my truck and I'll drive it to your house. I'll help you out. But before I got back there, another vendor had purchased it. So, it's for sale for even more somewhere now, which I always hate. I mean, I get it. People that do that kind of stuff for a living and they got to make their money. But I always like to see a collector have a crack at something like that first. I always like to see that. And I would have loved to have taken it home. A gumball machine would fit in here perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. You know what we really wanted to do? And I don't know if we can do it, but it's, it's back there. It's in the back of our mind. Us, you know how like some people in their basement, they set up a bar, right? But we don't drink. So we're like, wouldn't it be cool if we could set up an ice cream bar? Make floats, scoop out ice cream, have some sodas. You know what I mean? Something small. It doesn't have to be big. Just a little ice cream bar for our little lounge area. I'm like, oh, that would be fun. You know what I mean? I think that would be a lot of fun. Something that we keep on the back burner. Get one of those big popcorn machines, old timey popcorn machines, and bring it down here because we got the TV. And I've got all the classic video game systems, and we got the jukebox, and we got all the vinyl records down here and everything. Because we really do, that is us. LPH and I, we have a lot of similar tastes, and we like to hang out down here and just be with our stuff and read comics and listen to records and just be together. And I think that would be fun. I think that would be a lot of fun. And Blue Splash said they were at the Great Ohio Toy Show last week. That one gentleman that had the Motu booth at Motu Both, was it Motu Joe? Was he there, or you mean someone else? Robert wants to know about upcoming shows. Yeah, there's a couple of upcoming shows we might be able to get to. Let me think here. We might go to the Atlanta Comic Convention. That's all the way in November, though. We might go because we haven't been there all year. As a matter of fact, I think the last time we were there was probably like June or July of last year. We've missed several. I think she definitely wants to go to the Atlanta Record Show, which is going to be, Sunday, November 9th. And we thought about going to CCS Super Swap, but that's November 8th and 9th. So we could go to the Super Swap on the 8th and then go to the record show on the 9th. I don't think we're going to get to the Retro Toy Con in South Carolina. We will go to the Conyers Toy and Comic Show. That's December 7th. I know we'll be there because Dutch will have a heart attack if we don't come. And then, of course, Toylanta in March of next year. We'll definitely be at the Toylanta. So, yeah. And Munin says it would eat me alive if I had to leave a personal grail for my collection behind. Yeah, sometimes we have to. Sometimes we have to. Because, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't afford it, or, something, you can't work it out. Like I had to do that at the Joe Fest a couple of months ago because Carlos had the Defiant, and it was complete. It needed to be cleaned up. It had a couple of broken parts, but it was complete. And he was like, make an offer. Insult me. Anything. I'll work with you. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it because I was like, it's just, you're still over $1,000. And I didn't have it. Oh, Blue Splash was saying, okay, the guy that was at the Joe Lanta with the Motu both. Oh, the one that I highlighted. Is that who you're talking about? Yeah, he had a ton of interesting stuff. He had a ton of interesting stuff. But yeah, that can suck, and that's part of the game. I mean, you see stuff at shows, and sometimes you just got to let it go. You have to sit there and say, well, yeah, I can't afford that. Or even if it's a good deal, and I know Carlos would have given me a really good price. I know he would have been more than fair. And he was basically like, I'd love to see you have it in the museum, and I don't want to move it again. I'm afraid to keep moving this. And I totally get that when you're talking about toys, selling toys at these shows, because some of them can be fragile. A simple mistake and something is ruined. It's destroyed, just like that. Raccoon says that would be awesome, talking about the ice cream bar idea. And Hobby Lobby sells vintage 50s signs for snacks and ice cream. Tuck doesn't drink but wouldn't mind having a bar. Yep, ice cream sodas came unit. Stone Sour said movie night at David's when the ice cream bar and popcorn machine is set up. Yeah, and Saturday Morning Fan says get an arcade cabinet. You know what, though, also, Chris from The One You Loved Comics, he's trying to sell me his Miss Pac-Man. He's got an original, like, 1980 Miss Pac-Man cabinet, and it works. It's in working condition. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's so tempting. But as much room as we have, we don't want to just completely flood the place, you know? And Ray, R-E-A-Y, says, get a jukebox. We have one. We have one, actually. I don't know if I can, maybe I can turn the monitor. Hold on. Right there. It's not as fancy as the ones you see on TV. I've been working on it. I've got the lights working. I've got the money changer working. It's still giving me a really hard time picking up records to play the records. This is a monster, though. This thing is like almost 500 pounds. And it's from, it's the kind you would see in like a pizza shop or something like that. This is an 80s jukebox. This one is from the 1980s. And it's, you know, it's meant to take a beating. Like, you could not bust your way into this thing. It's not like the fancy ones you see on TV with all the lights and everything. But the story behind this, and some of you know the story. Some of you know the story of this jukebox. This was being dumped as a side of the road kind of pickup thing. We saw it on Facebook Marketplace. The woman wanted nothing for it. Okay. She was like, come take this jukebox, give me whatever. And we got out there, and it turns out that what was going on with the jukebox was that her husband had already purchased this previously. She had purchased it he had purchased it as a project, and it was sitting in their garage. And he was out of town for his job for a few days, and she decided it was time to get rid of it. And I was like, I'm talking to LPH, and I'm like, oh man, you know what? That makes me feel really guilty. Should we just give this woman $50, $100 and take this? And then dude's going to come home in 3 days and find out that his jukebox is gone, and there's going to be a murder in the news. And she was like, well, you know, the thing is though, that somebody's going to come and take it. So it may as well be us. And I'm like, yeah, you know, you're right, though. You're right. Because if we walk away, the next person that comes along is going to take it. And the person who takes it is probably going to be a vendor who's going to turn around and put it on Facebook Marketplace again for like $1,000. And, you know, it'll do. At some point, if I'm fortunate enough to find a really fancy vintage jukebox with all the bells and whistles and flashing lights and all that great stuff, I would sell this one and swap them. But for the time being, we've got a jukebox. We've got a jukebox. You know, I can't complain. I can't complain because it's one of those things that a lot of people wish they always had and didn't have a chance. You know what I mean? Wish they had a chance at something, or, oh, I wish I could. Oh, the comic rack again, $30. $30, the comic rack and the magazine rack that matches it. Vintage 70s pieces. how much do comic racks, vintage racks go for now? You can't find them. People want crazy money for these, and it's missing the topper. You know, the block that goes on the top isn't there. But hey, for the price, you can't beat it. And sometimes you just get lucky. I always would have loved to have one of these, and just got lucky. And that just happens sometimes. You have your luck and you don't. T. Stewart says he has the flag. It sat in the same place for 10 years. I refuse to move it. I don't blame you. It's probably scary. I'd be afraid to move it too. I wouldn't want to take that thing apart. Munin says, I know the story of the jukebox. I've been looking forward to the day it gets completed. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of having enough time right now. Again, we just moved a couple of months ago from the old house to here. LPH and I had to do it on our own, or a few months back. We had to do it by ourselves for the most part. Again, hired a guy one day to help us move the really heavy stuff like the jukebox. And boy, that was a task. Getting the house put together, getting the museum set up. She had changed her position at her job. Then the situation with her father now, it's really an issue of time. How much time do we have to work on these? That's why the museum stopped. Because by now, I'd be working on or even finished with Toy Room 2. I can't do it. I can't do it because I can't be down there for that length of time. I can't be just down here, and I can't have him down here with me using tools. It would not be safe. It would not be safe. And there's Johnny Future. Johnny Future made it. Glad you could join us today, talking about this, that, and the other. Everything nostalgic. Of course, LPH is not available. She's upstairs sitting with her dad. But she encouraged me actually to come and do this today. So yeah, you know what? Haven't done a live stream in a long time, but why don't you go ahead and go on and, say hello to everybody and say hi for me and whatever, because we haven't been able to do it in quite some time, which is true. We have not been able to do it for quite some time. There's a legend saying, happy to see you Saturday. Yeah, it's been weeks since we've been able to do it because her father cannot be alone. He cannot be alone. He's a danger to himself. So until we can get him a placement that's safe, that so that we can get back on track with our normal lives, I can't start work on Toy Room 3. And I can't get back to the jukebox. There's a lot of things I just can't do. And yeah, we appreciate that, folks. Yeah, of course, Munin. I'll tell her that everybody was asking for her naturally. Much appreciated, Robert. Also, I'll let her know that she had some well wishes. People were asking about her. Sent their prayers. Has all the help we can get. What's that? Oh yes, Johnny, I did see that. Johnny on our Facebook group posted a picture that he found a carded Superpowers Superman, unpunched and all. Very nice find. Very nice find. And I had some pickups that I showed. I've been showing it off and on here because we did the flea market thing. And, I'll run it through again here really quickly. I had the couple of Best of the West figures. I found these. These are $5. Sam Cobra's a tough one, even loose like this. He's like $30 probably. So Best of the West figures for like the $5 range. The Holly Hobby type quilt that my wife found that has the seasons on it. It's got all 12 seasons. It's all handmade, hand stitched. Like, let me see, where is the 4th of July here? I'm all over the place. One of these is the 4th of July. because it's all 12. There it is. 4th of July, because it's all 12 seasons pictured there. Got the Teddy Ruxpin stuff that I picked up at the flea market. It's 3 book and cassette packages and a working Teddy Ruxpin in the box for like $30. It's a great find. And there's Patrick joining us. Oh, that's Patrick. There's Patrick. Legends wants a Nosferatu from NECA. Did you check Ollie's? I know everything goes to Ollie's now. And then the animation cells, which I thought was amazing. And I have no idea what I've got here. They are from Mad Magazine. They are from the 70s. And as was speculated, Saturday Morning Fan brought it up. There was an animated television special by Mad Magazine in 1974. And that's obviously Don Martin art, these pages. And I got 4 of these cells at the flea market for $15. And like I was pointing out, this is also Mad Magazine art. And I'm like, wow, you know. It's so incredible. Saturday Morning says, good news on McDonald's as they're using Ronald and McDonald's land in ads again. Bad news, the inside of the place still looks like a dull Verizon store. Yeah, incredible. And Renard says, what are some of your favorite classic logos? The old General Foods or Frito-Lay logos? Oh, interesting. Because, you know, my wife has her patch jacket, so I've been considering doing that. But I want to focus on logos that I liked or things that I liked as a child, like Fanta. You know, if I can find a vintage Fanta patch, things like that, or anything that reminds me of childhood. Robert wants to see the tin set of Voltrons. You can see those back there. Oh, and Tuck's got to go. Well, glad you could make it. But classic logos, I don't know. That's an interesting question, though. But you know, there's so many great ad icon stuff out there that ties in with that whole concept from a variety of different sources. Like I said, the old 7-Up logo with the bubbles and things like that. It's things that I'm interested in, again, for a patch jacket for myself, as LPH's is filling up quickly. Filling up. Pep Boys has always been an interesting one. KF's Kentucky Fried Chicken, when it was Kentucky Fried Chicken, with the Colonel with his little bow tie hanging under his chin, stuff like that. But yeah, the Voltron set. Let me see. Yeah, it's right here. I do have the whole set, and I found this actually at a. This set came from the Retro Toy Swap last year, and I think I paid $5 if I remember correctly. But yeah, see and these are the steel box sets. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet. Have not had a chance to watch them yet. Yeah, naturally, Johnny, and Tuck also. I'll definitely be letting LPH know that people were asking about her. And she would have liked to have come on, but it was only reasonable that one of us did under the circumstances. But yeah, that's the whole steel box set. I have 5. I don't know if there's another one. and then the black lion. But yeah, these are nice. This is nice. And then, of course, they on the inside, they come like this with the gatefold box. And the discs and booklet. It's a nice set. It's a real nice set. And for the price, I couldn't pass it up. You know, it was a really, really decent price. But yeah, and the Retro Toy Swap's been really good to us. We found some amazing deals at the Retro Toy Swap, stuff that I was just like, wow, I don't think I could ever find this for this price kind of deals, because again, they're not vendors. There are a couple of vendors there that go to the retro, but most of the people that go to the Retro Toy Swap are not vendors. Oh, and also we'll be, because Robert was asking earlier about shows, we will also be going to the Retro Toy Swap in December, which will be December 6th. And that's kind of bad timing. It's going to hurt, actually. It's going to hurt the Conyers Toy Show. It hurt it last year because because the Retro Toy Swap is always the first Saturday of the month. 6 months a year, every other month. So the next one will be December 6th. But then the Conyers Toy Show is December 7th. So that's another toy show, like literally the next day within the same region. So people will go to the retro and spend their money, and then they won't have anything left over for Conyers Toy Show. And last year, the Conyers Toy Show was kind of dragging its heels. And it wasn't a bad show. I did get some good deals there. I got like the complete set of almost the complete set of the Kenner Robin Hood figures. And I completed that at a toy show a few months ago. I found the missing figures, the missing couple of figures. But yeah, two shows in proximity that close, not a good idea. Not a good idea. And it's like, if I think it would make more sense for the Conyers Toy Show, since they know Retro is going to do that, to do it the week after, even give people a chance. Legend says, only to remember you by, since all the times your channel helped me through the dark times these past 10 years. However, I know your view on them. On what? Oh, okay. I missed something. It says, I'm not going to lie. Every time I see a broken TV tattoo, usually on fire, I think of you saying screw tube. Part of me is tempted to eventually get one. Oh, I see. I see. All right. Richard says, Richard's got to go. Okay, well, glad you could join us. But yeah, Retro Toy Swap, we've had a lot of fortune. Like I said, most of the people that are going there are not vendors. It's just that it's really cheap to set up there. I've set up a table there a couple of times in the past. I haven't done it for a while, but I have done it a few times in the past. It's only $20. It's not, it's the cheapest game in town. So a lot of people who would not normally set up a booth anywhere will go to the Retro Toy Swap and set up. And they'll sell things cheaper. They'll sell things you never see. I find a lot of stuff at Retro that I've never seen at a show at all. Like the Johnny Reb, my Johnny Reb cannon. I've never seen a Remco Johnny Reb for sale anywhere, but it turned up at Retro and complete. All the pieces were there. You know, stuff you just can't find. Stuff you can't find anywhere else has turned up there. So that makes it really interesting. That makes it really, really interesting. But yeah, those are the shows that we're going to try to get to. We'll do our best. Blue Splash says they're on the hunt for Mark's toys. Great Garloo. Oh, yeah, that's a great piece. For some reason, standalone monsters are harder to find unless it's Mattel's Crusher. And has seen the Kraken once. Kraken turns up from time to time. I see the Kraken at a lot of shows, actually. He's usually one floating around somewhere. Great Garloo, I've rarely seen at a show, and usually not working. This, or like Big Lou is another one. The robot Big Lou, or the Frankenstein that looks like Great Garloo from Marx. Also, they have like a Frankenstein, or any of the B9 robots from Lost in Space from Remco. You never see that stuff, and if it does turn up, it's busted. It's in terrible shape, missing all the pieces, whatever. So yeah. Saturday morning, walked into a thrift store a few days ago and walked to the toy area. Someone just found an original 1980s Care Bear Sunshine Bear for $2. They do turn up. Sometimes Care Bears turn up at the thrift stores. Loose. They do turn up. And Frankenfrog sends us best wishes also. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, all the well-wishing. It means a lot. It does. Because it has been hard. It has been hard on both of us. But yeah, I have found stuff, again, at the retro I've never seen for sale anywhere that I'm like, whoa, yeah, I want that. You know, and sometimes you miss out. Sometimes you miss out. Oh, like the Dalek costume. I got the Dalek costume at a retro toy swap in the box. You remember the Dalek costume. Who's ever seen that anywhere? You can't even find that on eBay. I've seen the pieces from it. I've seen like a wand for sale, you know, something like that for some outrageous price. But not a full-on Dalek costume. Still in the box. I've had some incredible luck. I found that Star Trek animated series animation cell at the retro toy swap. Who remembers that a while back? Legend says a friend recently found out she got a rare dog breed from a local shelter, figured it out after all was said and done. Interesting. And it's a shame somebody dumped it in the shelter. But hopefully it's got a nice new home now. Saturday morning says don't think even the Barker Comics and Cartoon Museum has that costume. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen the wands. I've seen the wands listed individually for as much as $150 a piece on eBay. You can't find it. As I know people have quoted me saying that. It's like, as David Eon says, you just can't find that. I've seen that on Facebook because, you know, if somebody mentions your name, Facebook will tell you. And I'm like, people are quoting me. Give me a break. Who do you think I am? But yeah, some of the deals that I found there and the rare pieces like the Structo tank, I found that at the retro toy swap, the Beverly Hillbillies car. And oddly enough, as you might recall, one turned up at the Joe Fest, or Joe Lanta, excuse me. One turned up at the Joe Lanta just recently. And I'm like, that's two that I've seen in a year. And I have never seen one for sale anywhere. And now that's two I've seen in a year. Although the one that was at Joe Lanta didn't really work. And mine does work. Which is why I did the video on it, because I was like, this sucker works. We gotta make a video. But yeah, it's just some retro toy swap's been some of the best finds we've had in the last few years. And again, really because mostly it's mostly collectors just selling overflow with a smattering of vendors. And it's a shame what the Treasure Hunt Antique Mall is doing to that show. And I've talked about this before. I mentioned it when I was filming, that he used to have one whole extra lane in the parking lot, and the Treasure Hunt Mall took it from him. And so he had to cut back. He went from having damn near 80 vendors to something like 55 now. And it's like, why are you hindering the progress? It's literally 6 days out of the year that this is taking place. It brings a lot of foot traffic into the mall. Why shoot yourself in the foot for parking spaces? There's still plenty of space to park. Why are you complaining? Let it be what it is. That's what I say. It's like, why, let it grow and bring attention to the mall. Bring in some business. Robert wants to know, was the Cobra Fang helicarrier for 6-inch figures? Oh, at the Joe Lanta? No. He actually had, I think it was those 4-inch anniversary figures in it. And Saturday Morning suggests he could find another location. Yeah, but he's actually based out of the Treasure Hunt Mall, is why he does it there. Because inside the Treasure Hunt Mall, there's actually a lot of vintage toy vendors. They've got the most vintage toy vendors out of any antique mall in Georgia. That's why he does it there. And I think that's why he wants to base it out of there. But yeah, I see your point. Blue Splash says, I do have My Pet Monster cuffs. Check if mine was knockoff, and lucky mine are all the real ones. Oh, I mentioned it. Yeah, I was talking about the cuffs at the Joe Lanta because I saw somebody who had counterfeit ones on the doll, on the stuffed animal. Because My Pet Monster, they made repros, and if there's no coloring in the name where it says My Pet Monster on the cuffs, and especially if it says made in China inside instead of made in Taiwan, they're probably counterfeit. It should say made in Taiwan, and it should be fully colored in blue and orange highlight, not just in orange. And there's a lot of counterfeit cuffs floating around out there. But I'm glad yours are real, because that's a big deal. It's a big deal. Those are expensive. All that stuff is expensive. And going back again, I talk about certain things like this because I've been going to shows for a long time. And I remember in the 90s, you couldn't get $5 for a My Pet Monster. Nobody gave a shit about that thing. Even the rare ones, even the little hand puppet dog. People were selling them at shows for like $3, $5. Or ROM Space Night, you couldn't get $20 for ROM Space Night mint in the box. There was a dealer, and I bring that up specifically because there was a dealer at one show in like the mid-90s. He had cases of them. We couldn't give them away for cheap, real cheap. And it's like nowadays, how much is ROM Space Night in the box? I mean, holy crap. It's shot up so much. All this stuff has gotten so crazy expensive. It really has over the years. And again, upcoming videos. We will be doing the spinner rack. Try to make that a thing. I know the last spinner rack video we didn't get very many views, but that's okay. I'll rehash what's on the since we've updated it, or I've updated it. LPH hasn't yet. I got to get her to do her side. We're way behind on everything right now. It's so hard to keep up anymore. But We'll do the spinner rack video. I've got the unboxing video, the stuff that came in the mail. I could have done one for flea market pickups, but I've already shown it all. I showed it all tonight. Yeah, that's right. Saturday Morning Fan 90 stuff is starting to shoot up also. I'm surprised to see Dick Tracy going up, though. Nobody ever liked those. The based on the live action film, the Dick Tracy figures by Playmates look awful. And the only one that was ever valuable was the blank. But yeah, it's coming up. And Robert wants to know about cat videos. I haven't put anything up on the cat channel in a while. I need to get back to it. Again, it's been hard. It's been hard because of the ongoing family emergency to just sit there and plan and do videos regular. It's been a problem. I would like to get back to that, though. As soon as I'm able to, I want to get back to doing the cat videos and sharing them with everybody. And because we do have that other channel, Stray Cat Sanctuary, where we showcase the cats and talk about the cats. Yeah, Johnny, that's the one with Madonna as Breathless Mahoney. Breathless Mahoney. And that's the moniker for the cat channel on YouTube. But yeah, I was doing it regular for a minute, and then I couldn't. Like I said, even just doing the regular videos on this channel has been a challenge under the circumstances. His unpredictability, LPH's father's unpredictability, has made it very difficult. He really cannot be left alone. And until we can get him placed someplace safe, it's really slowed down everything that we do. Ground several things to a halt. Like I said, the Toy Room 2, I should be working on it already or even finished with it, and I can't do it. And that's, I believe, like I pointed out in the last video I did back there, that that's where I believe she's going to set up all her master's stuff, all her masters of the university. Migo Matt is here. He says the Dick Tracy movie was a disappointment. Great cast, story and production was a swing and a miss. I loved the look of it, though. Yeah, the story, whatever. It's pretty generic, but I like the way that they tried to make it cartoonish and make it pop. The visualization, the ultra shiny cars, and the really vibrant colors in the clothes and things like that, I found interesting. And the makeup work I found interesting on a lot of the weird looking characters, that trying to make them look exactly like from the original comic strips. But the story was rather lackluster otherwise. So yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. Yeah, Johnny said, thank goodness he can come with you for those few toy shows. Indeed. And that was also very nice of Brett from Toy Lanta, or Joe Lanta. Toy Lanta, Joe Lanta. It's the same company. But when I explained the situation to him, he offered us an extra press pass so that we could bring him and still film the show and everything. And that was very nice of him to do that. They didn't have to. So I really appreciate it. And yeah, Robert's talking about Diane Keaton. I heard that. I heard that that had happened today. Heard that had happened today. But yeah, anyways, getting close to 2 hours here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. I want to get back to my wife, make sure everything's going okay upstairs. I hope, thanks for joining me. Too bad LPH could not be here. Maybe next time she can. If we're able to work it out, I will try to, I'll try to get back on again next week. Okay. We're doing our best. It's been very challenging. There's so much going on. taking care of the cats, the new move, dealing with all of that, and now this. And again, we had to bring him. They were not taking care of him where he was. It just is what it is. Special thanks, of course, to Pastor Rick and to Stone Sour, who made donations to the channel to help us with our cat shelter. Always, always appreciated. And thanks everyone else for joining us and all the well-wishing. Very much appreciated. And I'll be sure, of course, to let LPH know that you were all asking about her. So yeah, we'll try to do this again next week. And I hope you have a good evening. And I will catch you again sometime.